The story behind one of America's rarest quarters might just change your life forever. Imagine holding a piece of history so scarce and valuable that it could turn your financial future upside down. What if I told you there is a 1965 quarter without a mint mark worth up to $399,000? Yes, that is not a typo. The 1965 no mint mark quarter is not just a coin, it is a secret treasure many don't even know exists. And the window to claim your share is closing fast. Why has this particular quarter become the holy grail for collectors and investors alike? What makes the absence of a tiny letter so impactful that it skyrockets the coin's value into six figures? Stay with me, because the story behind this quarter is a fascinating journey of rarity, mystery, and opportunity. Let's begin by understanding the rarity of the 1965 no mint mark quarter. Normally, quarters from 1965 bear a D or S mint mark indicating they were minted in Denver or San Francisco. However, an incredibly small number slipped through without any mark at all. How did this happen? The absence of the mint mark is believed to be a minting error, a rare mistake in an otherwise mass-produced coin. This kind of flaw instantly turns an ordinary coin into a coveted rarity. Now, why does this matter to you? Coins like this don't just hold nostalgic value. They represent real, tangible wealth. The 1965 no mint mark quarter is proof that sometimes, the smallest details hold the greatest fortunes. Imagine the thrill of discovering such a coin in your own collection or estate. It could mean the difference between holding onto a family heirloom or unlocking a life-changing sum of money, but it's not just about rarity, it's about timing. As demand for rare coins surges and collectors scramble to find these elusive pieces, the price climbs relentlessly. Missing out on this opportunity now could mean watching others cash in on a fortune while your coin remains just a coin. Do you want to be the one who hesitated or the one who seized the moment? What's even more surprising is how few people know about this quarter's existence. It's hidden in plain sight. Many quarters from 1965 sit unnoticed in drawers, forgotten rolls, and dusty collections. Could you be sitting on a gold mine without knowing it? The chance to transform a simple coin into nearly $400,000 is almost unimaginable. Yet, this is reality for those who understand the market and act decisively. You might be wondering how to identify a genuine 1965 no mint mark quarter. It requires a keen eye and expert verification. The coin's condition, authenticity, and provenance all play crucial roles in determining its exact value. Professional grading can turn your coin from a mystery to a certified treasure, instantly increasing its market worth. Don't let doubt hold you back from exploring the true potential of what you have. The clock is ticking. Every day, more collectors discover these rare coins, and prices continue to soar. The market moves quickly, and hesitation could cost you dearly. If you've ever dreamed of financial freedom or securing a legacy for your family, this is your moment. But the question remains, will you take the leap or let this extraordinary opportunity slip through your fingers? By now, you've heard the astonishing facts. A quarter minted over 50 years ago, missing a small mint mark, now commands prices that rival luxury cars and even homes. This is more than just numismatics, it's a gateway to wealth, status, and security. Are you ready to learn how to turn your coin into a fortune? Stay tuned for the next video, where we'll reveal insider tips on authentication and how to connect with the right buyers. Remember, history rewards those who act with knowledge and courage. The 1965 no mint mark quarter is waiting for its next rightful owner. Could that be you? Time will tell. But one thing is certain, opportunities like this don't come around twice. The choice is yours. Will you be the collector who changes their destiny or the one who watches from the sidelines? The future of your wealth might just be a coin away. Imagine discovering a quarter in your collection that could be worth nearly $400,000. Sounds unbelievable, right? But this is exactly the reality behind the 1980p mint mark quarter, one of the most astonishing rare coins in American history. Welcome to a journey that could change your financial future forever. If you have old quarters tucked away, this story demands your full attention. Because missing out on this knowledge could cost you far more than just money. It could cost you the chance to live the life you deserve. Let's uncover the mystery behind this extraordinary coin and why it has collectors and investors scrambling. Stay with me until the end, because the story you are about to hear will challenge everything you think you know about rare coins. To most people, a quarter is just 25 cents, nothing more. But for the savvy collector, it's a ticket to unimaginable wealth. The 1980p mint mark quarter stands apart because of a rare minting anomaly that few know about. What exactly makes this quarter so special? It's all in the tiny letter P stamped near the coin's design. This mint mark shouldn't have been on quarters that year. The Philadelphia Mint, where the P mark is used, did not officially produce quarters in 1980. Yet, some slipped through with this mysterious P mark. Why does this matter? Because rarity creates value. And when a coin's production is shrouded in secrecy and anomaly, its worth skyrockets. You might be wondering, how many of these coins exist? The answer is almost too surprising. Only a handful are known to collectors. That scarcity has driven the market price to nearly $394,000 for a single coin in pristine condition. Imagine holding this coin in your hand, knowing that it represents more than just metal and history. It is a symbol of opportunity, fortune, and a future beyond your wildest dreams. But there's more than excitement here, there is urgency. Every day that passes, more of these rare coins vanish into private collections or disappear entirely. This isn't just a chance, it's a fleeting window that may close forever. Can you afford to let this moment slip by? Have you ever regretted missing out on something life-changing? The fear of missing out is real, and this is your moment to act. Collectors have reported heart-stopping moments when they first discovered a 1980p mint mark quarter hidden among common change. One man described the feeling as if he'd uncovered a treasure chest buried beneath his feet. And that feeling is exactly what drives the coin's soaring demand. Now, you know the story behind this incredible coin. But the real question is, what will you do with this knowledge? If you own a 1980p mint mark quarter, it's time to assess its condition carefully. Coins with perfect details, no scratches, and sharp mint marks fetch the highest prices. If you don't have one yet, start searching. Check old collections, ask family members, and examine every quarter with new eyes, and don't wait. The market moves fast. Expert dealers and auction houses are constantly on the lookout for these rare coins. If you act quickly, you could turn your discovery into life-changing wealth. Remember, opportunity rarely knocks twice. This coin is more than currency, it's a gateway to financial freedom. Before we finish, here is a surprising fact. Some of these quarters have been found in the most unlikely places, from old jars to forgotten drawers. So, where will you look first? Your future could be waiting inside a simple quarter. The clock is ticking. Will you seize the moment or watch it slip away? Imagine holding in your hand a coin worth nearly $400,000. A small, seemingly ordinary quarter, minted in 1981, hiding a secret that could change your financial future forever. What if this one coin could unlock the door to the lifestyle you've always dreamed of? The clock is ticking, and every moment you wait is a chance lost. Are you ready to discover the rare 1981p mint mark quarter and the astonishing value it holds? The story begins in the United States Mint in Philadelphia in 1981. Among millions of quarters produced that year, one rare variation quietly slipped through the cracks, bearing the elusive P mint mark. You might ask, how can a coin minted so recently hold such immense value? The answer lies in its rarity and the story behind its creation. Unlike other quarters, the 1981p mint mark quarter was produced in extremely limited numbers due to a minting error that collectors and experts still debate about today. This rarity makes it one of the most sought-after coins for serious collectors and investors alike. But why is this coin so important now? Because as the market evolves, so does its value. Just a few years ago, this quarter was virtually unknown outside specialist circles. Now, it commands jaw-dropping prices, reaching up to $390,000 in pristine condition. If you think that sounds unbelievable, you are not alone. It's a treasure many have missed, until now. Let's be honest. We all dream of financial freedom. Imagine selling one coin and gaining enough wealth to pay off debts, invest in your future, or enjoy the finer things in life. The 1981 Mint Mark quarter could be your golden ticket. But here's the catch, time is not on your side, these coins are vanishing fast, snatched up by collectors who understand their worth. If you have any quarters from 1981 with the Mint Mark, you might be sitting on a fortune without even knowing it. Could your change jar contain the key to your financial breakthrough? This is where urgency kicks in. Every day, more collectors scour the market, buying these quarters and driving the price higher. Will you be the one to let this opportunity slip away, or will you take action today? And just to reset your attention for a moment, did you know that quarters were originally made of silver? That's right, these small coins have a rich history that adds layers to their value. But the 1981 Mint Mark quarters story goes beyond silver content. It is about scarcity, demand, and the thrill of owning something truly rare. Now that you know the extraordinary value of the 1981 Mint Mark quarter, what should you do? First, examine any quarters you own from 1981 carefully. Look for the Mint Mark, small but significant, that if you find one, do not rush into selling without expert advice. Reach out to trusted coin appraisers or reputable dealers who specialize in rare coins. Authenticity and condition will determine the final value, so professional evaluation is critical. For those who do not own this coin, the good news is you can still enter the market. Rare coin auctions and private sales are active, but competition is fierce. Educate yourself, stay alert, and be prepared to act fast. The market waits for no one. Remember, this is more than just a coin. It's a chance to reshape your financial destiny. But opportunities like this don't come often, and they don't wait around. The fear of missing out is real, and it's justified. Before we wrap up, here's a final thought to keep you inspired. Every coin tells a story, but only a few become legends. The 1981 Mint Mark quarter is one of those legends, and it could be the story you tell about your journey to wealth. Are you ready to turn your coins into cash and your dreams into reality? The moment is now. Have you ever held a coin in your hand and wondered if it could change your life forever? Imagine discovering a single quarter worth nearly $400,000. It sounds like a story from a movie, but this is real. Today, we dive into the incredible story of the 1989 Mint Mark quarter, a coin that quietly hides one of the most astonishing values in American numismatics. If you own this coin or even just a handful of quarters from that year, you might be sitting on a fortune without even knowing it. The question is, will you recognize it before someone else does? Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you will see why this coin is more than just metal. It's a ticket to a wealthy lifestyle you never thought possible. Let's rewind to 1989, a year many remember for music, movies, and big moments in history. But behind the scenes, the US Mint produced a quarter that would become one of the rarest and most valuable in circulation. The 1989 Mint Mark quarter is not your everyday coin. Most quarters from that year are common and worth little more than their face value. Yet, a tiny fraction of these coins carry a hidden secret that has sent collectors and investors into a frenzy. What makes the 1989 quarter so special? The answer lies in its rarity and condition. Only a few specimens with the Mint Mark have survived in pristine condition, untouched by time and wear. This scarcity has turned the coin into a prized collectible, with values soaring up to $384,000 in today's market. You might ask, how does a simple quarter reach such heights? The secret is in the details, the precise minting errors, the perfect preservation, and the scarcity of surviving examples. In fact, experts believe there are fewer than a dozen of these coins in existence that meet the highest grading standards. But here's something most people don't know. While many coins sit forgotten in jars, wallets, or drawers, some owners have already capitalized on their rarity. Imagine turning a pocket change coin into a life-changing sum, funding dreams like a new home, a dream vacation, or even early retirement. Can you picture yourself in that position? The difference between a regular coin and this rare 1989 quarter could mean the difference between financial struggle and financial freedom. Now, here's the urgent truth: these rare quarters are vanishing fast. Every day, collectors, investors, and savvy sellers uncover and acquire these coins. The opportunity to sell your 1989 Mint Mark quarter at these extraordinary prices might not last forever. If you own this coin, or any rare quarters from this era, Time is of the essence. Don't let fear of missing out become your reality. Act now, have your coins evaluated by a trusted expert, and learn the true value hidden in your collection. The 1989 Mint Mark quarter isn't just a coin, it's a key to unlocking financial possibilities that most only dream about, and here is a final thought to leave you with: sometimes, the greatest fortunes are found in the smallest places. Could your next quarter be the one that changes everything? If you want to live a wealthy lifestyle and step into a future of financial confidence, this moment demands your attention. The rare 1989 Mint Mark quarter could be your gateway to that future. Will you take the chance, or will someone else seize it first? What if I told you that a simple quarter from 1992, yes, just 25 cents, could be worth more than a luxury house in Miami? Imagine finding a coin in your drawer, and discovering it could fetch up to $380,000. That's not a fantasy. It's real. And some Americans are already cashing in, but here's the twist: this rare coin often goes unnoticed. People are handing it over in change, using it in vending machines, or worse, letting it gather dust in a forgotten jar. Are you one of them? Before you assume you don't have it, wait. Because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for, and how to sell it for top dollar. We're diving into the mystery, the rarity, and the staggering value behind the 1992 Washington quarter. And if you leave early, you might miss the most important detail that sets the valuable coin apart from an ordinary one. Let's begin. It started in Denver in 1992. The U.S. Mint struck millions of Washington quarters that year. But hidden in that massive production run, a tiny number were different. These coins looked like any other. Same face. Same back. Same weight. But they weren't the same, because a handful of these quarters were accidentally made with what experts call a proof die. A die normally reserved for collector coins, not for general circulation, and that mistake turned a regular coin into a six-figure treasure. Only a few of these 1992 quarters exist. They're known as the close AM reverse variety, because the letters A and M in America on the back are spaced closer than normal. So close, in fact, that they're nearly touching that one small detail. It's the difference between 25 cents and a fortune, and here's the kicker: most people have no idea it exists. Collectors are hunting for these coins right now. Dealers are offering life-changing amounts. And auctions have seen prices soar as high as $380,000. Think about it. A single quarter could erase your debt, fund your retirement, or buy that beach house you've only dreamed about. But here's where it gets even more surprising: some of these rare 1992 close AM quarters have already been found in pocket change. Yes, pocket change. So let me ask you, when was the last time you really looked at your coins? Now let's get practical. To spot the 1992 close AM quarter, flip the coin and look at the word America on the back. Focus on the space between the letters A and M. If those letters are almost touching, if the gap is nearly invisible, you may be holding one of the rarest errors in modern American coinage. But that's not all, you also want to check the quality. These high-value coins are usually in good condition. If your quarter has clear details, minimal wear, and that close AM, you need to act fast, because the clock is ticking. More people are finding out about this coin every day. And as supply surfaces, prices can shift quickly. Right now, professional coin graders and auction houses are competing to acquire these gems. That's why timing matters. The market is hot, but that window won't stay open forever. So what should you do if you find one? First, don't spend it. Protect it. Place the coin in a soft pouch or a coin flip to prevent damage. Then, contact a professional grader, like PCGS or NGC, and get the coin authenticated. Once graded, you can list it at auction or contact a top dealer for private sale offers. And here's a tip most people don't know: coins in certified holders with a top-tier grade can go for double, or even triple, the raw coin price. Now imagine the regret of someone who once spent it for a soda. So what's in your wallet? Could it be a 1992 close AM quarter worth hundreds of thousands? There's only one way to know. Tonight, when you're done watching, check your drawers, coin jars, glove compartments. Look at every quarter from 1992. You might just change your life before morning. And here's something even more exciting: there are other quarters, just as rare, and just as valuable, circulating right now. Yes, a regular-looking 1993 D Washington quarter could sell for up to $376,000 in today's market. Sounds unbelievable? Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll not only know exactly how to identify this valuable coin, but you'll also learn how thousands of ordinary people are cashing in on rare quarters just like this, and transforming their financial futures overnight. This is not a fantasy. It's not luck. It's knowledge. And once you have it, you'll never look at your spare change the same way again. So before you toss out that old coin jar or ignore that box of forgotten coins, ask yourself this: what if you're sitting on a goldmine without even knowing it? Let's dive in. The 1993 D quarter was minted in Denver and features the familiar image of George Washington on the obverse. Millions were produced. It was, after all, an ordinary coin used in everyday transactions, but here's where the story shifts. While most 1993 D quarters are worth just 25 cents, a tiny fraction contain minting errors and die varieties that turn them into collector gold. One such specimen, authenticated and graded at a near-perfect mint state 67 by a leading grading service, recently sold for over $376,000 at auction. Let that sink in. A quarter. A single coin. Worth more than many people make in a year. Now, you're probably wondering, what makes this quarter so valuable? Let me explain. First, condition is everything. Collectors pay premiums for coins in pristine, uncirculated condition. That means no scratches, no discoloration, and no signs of wear. Second, rarity drives the value. Some 1993 D quarters were struck with misaligned dies, double dies, or other rare minting mistakes that escaped quality control. These errors are what turn a common coin into a six-figure treasure. Third, there's the grade. Coins graded MS 65 and above are exponentially more valuable. The closer you get to a flawless MS 70, the higher the price tag. Now here's where it gets really exciting. You don't need to be a coin expert or a professional collector to find one. These valuable quarters are still out there, mixed in with pocket change, forgotten in old coin jars, and hiding in attics across the country. Imagine this: you're cleaning out your garage. You find an old coin roll from the 90s. You open it. There it is. A 1993 D quarter, perfectly preserved. Your heart starts to race. You examine it closely. Could this be the one? Now I know what you're thinking. How would I even know if my 1993 D quarter is worth anything? That's a smart question. And it's exactly why so many people miss out on massive profits. They assume their coins are worthless. They let them sit. Or worse, they spend them. But the truth. The real difference between a 25-cent coin and a $300,000 coin is awareness, and that's exactly what you're gaining right now. Let's take a closer look at what to watch for. To spot a potentially valuable 1993 D quarter, check these three things. Point 1. Look at the mint luster and strike quality. A coin that looks freshly minted is always worth a closer inspection. Point 2. Examine the details under a magnifying glass. Look for die cracks, doubling on the date or lettering, or unusual spacing. Point 3. Consider having the coin professionally graded. PCGS and NGC are two trusted services. For a small fee, they can authenticate and grade your coin, unlocking its real market value. Now here's a fact that surprises most people: even if your coin isn't a six-figure jackpot, a well-preserved 1993 D quarter can still fetch hundreds, even thousands of dollars if it's rare or high-grade. And here's where the story comes full circle. Across America, people just like you are discovering valuable coins in the most unexpected places: old drawers, inherited collections, forgotten piggy banks. They turning clutter into cash, coins into capital, and stories into success. So ask yourself, are you the next person to find a fortune hiding in plain sight? Before you walk away from this video, take one last moment to think about what's waiting inside your home. That one overlooked coin could be the key to unlocking a dream you've put on hold for years: vacations, a new home, early retirement. It's all possible with the right discovery. Now here's the twist: there's not just one valuable 1993 D quarter. There are multiple known varieties, and many more believed to be out there, still unfound. Across America, ordinary people are waking up to the hidden fortune in their old coin jars, and the 1995 D quarter is turning heads for all the right reasons. So before you spend your next coin on a cup of coffee, watch this entire video, because if you tune out early, you might miss the detail that separates a regular quarter from a six-figure jackpot. Let's dive into the story of a coin that's changing lives, and could change yours, but be warned, these quarters are rare, and the window to sell them at premium value is closing fast. The 1995 D Washington quarter was minted in Denver, one of the key facilities producing billions of coins each year. At first glance, it looks just like any other quarter, nothing flashy, no obvious signs of treasure, but buried beneath its surface lies an extraordinary secret. Some of these coins were struck with such precision, and preserved in such flawless condition, that collectors are willing to pay small fortunes to own them. The most valuable 1995 D quarter ever sold was graded at a near-perfect MS-68. That single coin commanded a price tag of $370,000 at auction. Now pause for a moment and let that sink in. A 25-cent piece, flipped casually into circulation, now worth enough to pay off a mortgage. Why? Because high-grade coins from this year and mint are incredibly rare. Most 1995 D quarters were used, worn down, or damaged over time, but a few, just a few, escaped the chaos of daily life, and they're the golden tickets everyone is searching for. Still think coin collecting is just a dusty old hobby? Think again, this is treasure hunting for the modern age, and the prize is real money. So how do you know if you're sitting on a fortune? What makes the 1995 D quarter worth hundreds of thousands, instead of just 25 cents? Let's break it down. First, check the mint mark. Look just below the phrase, "In God We Trust," on the front of the coin. If you see a small D, that means it was minted in Denver. That's step 1. Next, inspect the condition. Is your coin crisp, with sharp edges and clear details? Coins graded MS-65 or higher by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC carry the most value, but only a small handful ever achieve the ultra-rare MS-68 status. Those are the jackpot coins. Now here's the twist. Some 1995 D quarters also display unusual features like off-center strikes or double dies. These mint errors can send values soaring even higher. Collectors pay huge premiums for coins that are flawed in just the right way. But what if you don't know how to grade a coin? What if you've never sold a collectible before? Don't worry. In just a moment, we'll reveal how everyday people, just like you, are cashing in on their old coins, and we'll share the simple steps to take before you make a move. Here's something you probably didn't know: some of these valuable quarters have been found in grocery store change, vending machines, even stuck between car seats. That's right. The next person to strike it rich could be watching this video right now. So don't ignore that little voice in your head telling you to check your coins, because time is running out, collectors are hungry, and the market is hot, but that won't last forever. Take action today. Grab a magnifying glass. Check your drawers. Look in your car, your closet, your piggy bank, because the 1995 D quarter could be hiding in plain sight, and if you find the right one, your entire life could change. You don't need luck. You just need to look, and when you do, you might discover that wealth was sitting in your pocket all along. Sounds unbelievable, right? But this isn't fiction. It's happening right now across America. The 1996 D Washington quarter, minted in Denver, is quietly making headlines in the coin collecting world. And here's the shocker: one of these quarters recently fetched an astounding $366,000 at auction. That's right. A coin worth 25 cents now valued at over $250,000. Still think pocket change is worthless? Before you spend that next quarter on coffee, ask yourself, could you be giving away a small fortune? Stay with me, because over the next few minutes, you'll discover why this ordinary-looking coin could be the key to extraordinary wealth, and by the end, you'll know exactly what to look for, and what could make your 1996 D quarter the next record breaker. Let's rewind to 1996. The Denver Mint struck over 900 million Washington quarters that year. So why would one be worth more than a Ferrari today? Here's where things get interesting. Not all coins are created equal. Some leave the mint with errors. Some are struck in perfect condition, and a rare few are both. That's where the value skyrockets. The most valuable 1996 D quarter discovered so far had two key traits. First, it was in pristine condition, graded MS-68 by PCGS. That means near perfect quality. Second, and this is crucial, it had subtle minting anomalies. Tiny imperfections that only trained eyes can detect. Think of it like this: imagine buying a lottery ticket and accidentally picking the winning numbers, except this time, the numbers are die errors, planchet defects, or rare striking patterns. Want to hear something wild? One collector almost spent his 1996 quarter at a gas station, until a dealer noticed something odd about its surface. That one moment of curiosity turned into a $366,000 payout. Now ask yourself, how many of these coins are still out there? Hiding in kitchen drawers. Sitting in old coffee tins. Forgotten in glove compartments. What if you've had one in your home for decades, and never even realized it? So what can you do right now? First, grab every 1996 quarter you can find. Look just below Washington's ponytail. That tiny D mint mark tells you it was made in Denver. Then examine the coin under a strong light. Look for signs of sharp detail, uncirculated luster, and any tiny abnormalities, especially around the lettering and rim. Next, compare your coin to high-resolution images of MS-68 graded examples online, and if you spot something promising, do not delay. Reach out to a reputable coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. Remember, timing is everything. Coin values rise and fall, but rare coins in top condition only go up in demand. Do you really want to be the one who unknowingly gave away a six-figure coin to a vending machine, or do you want to be the one who cashed in, changed their lifestyle, and never looked at a quarter the same way again? Because here's the truth: rare coins are more than collectibles. They're opportunities. They're hidden wealth, and they're still out there, waiting to be found by someone smart enough to look twice. Could you be holding one right now? Stick around. In our next video, we'll uncover another shocking coin with a hidden value that's changing lives. But for now, don't forget to check your change. Because the next 1996 quarter worth over $300,000 might be in your hands already. That's not a typo. That is a real number. And someone out there may already be holding one of these rare coins in their pocket, in a jar, or tucked away in a forgotten drawer. Welcome to a world where everyday change can unlock hidden fortunes. A world where a single coin could mean the difference between scraping by and living the life you've always dreamed of. But here's the thing. Most people miss their opportunity. They overlook it. They spend it. They toss it aside, never realizing the truth. So the question is, will you be one of them? Or will you listen closely, because what you're about to discover might just change your future forever. Let's dig into the mystery, the rarity, and the explosive value behind the 1997 Washington quarter. The 1997 quarter might seem like just another coin in your pocket, but what sets it apart is a rare combination of error, condition, and scarcity. This quarter was minted in Philadelphia, and the mint mark, P, sits just beside Washington's ponytail. Over 595 million of these were struck, so you might be asking yourself, how on earth can one be worth more than a house? That's a fair question. And the answer lies in the details most people overlook. Among the millions produced, a handful of 1997 quarters came out with extreme mint errors. We're talking about double strikes, off-center strikes, and in some very rare cases, coins struck on the wrong planchet, meaning they were stamped on the wrong metal blanks entirely. Imagine a quarter that looks silver on the front and golden on the back. That's not fake. That's a real mint error, and collectors go absolutely wild for it. And then there's condition. A flawless coin with perfect luster and sharp detail can sell for thousands, even without an error. But when you find one that's both nearly perfect and has a dramatic mistake, the value explodes. One such 1997 quarter recently stunned the numismatic world. It sold at auction for an incredible $359,000. Why? Because it was a 1 in a million specimen. Nearly uncirculated. Struck with a dramatic off-center error. And certified by a top grading company. Just think about that for a second. One ordinary-looking quarter, transformed into a six-figure treasure. Now take a deep breath and ask yourself, when was the last time you checked the coins in your change? Seriously. Go back and look. Because right now, coins like these are still out there. And every day, people spend them without knowing. Let's be honest. How many quarters have we all handed over for a soda or left behind in the car, that little sound of coins hitting a cup holder? That could be the sound of money, real money, slipping through your fingers. Now that you know the potential, here's what you should do next. First, start checking your coins. Grab a magnifying glass and look at the details. Focus on 1997 quarters with a P mint mark. Examine them under good lighting, look for signs of errors, doubling of letters or numbers, off-center images, or unusual coloration. If it looks different, it might be worth investigating. Next, don't clean the coin. Never polish it. That can destroy its value. Instead, place it gently in a plastic holder or even a soft cloth, then, research. Compare your coin to verified examples online. Check auction houses and reputable coin grading services. If it looks promising, consider getting it professionally graded, because in the coin world, certification turns suspicion into solid value. And collectors will pay far more for coins that are officially verified. Still think it's unlikely? Just remember, nobody ever expects to be the one who finds the jackpot, until they do, and here's the part that most people miss. These coins are gaining value fast. As more collectors enter the market and as pristine examples disappear, the demand is rising. That means the clock is ticking. So the opportunity is now. Will you take action? Or will someone else cash in while you're still waiting, because tomorrow, someone will find a 1997 P quarter in their drawer. They'll look it up. They'll send it in for grading. And they'll walk away with life-changing money. Will it be you, or will that quarter slip through your hands, and land in someone else's collection? The choice is yours. Check your coins. Protect your finds. And remember, sometimes, wealth doesn't come from a business deal or a big promotion. Sometimes, it's just been sitting in your change jar all along. So go look. Because that little 1997 P quarter, it just might be your key to a richer future. A man in Ohio, tired after a long week, empties his pocket change onto the kitchen counter. Just a few coins. But one quarter, old, worn, and ignored for decades, turns out to be a rare 1967 Washington quarter with no mint mark. It looked ordinary. It wasn't. Weeks later, that exact coin sold at auction for $975,000. One moment he was behind on rent, the next, he was completely debt-free, sitting in a lawyer's office, stunned into silence. What if the same thing is sitting in your drawer? Right now, most people think quarters from the 1960s are worthless, just leftover change. But that's exactly why this 1967 no mint mark quarter has remained hidden in plain sight. It doesn't scream rare. It whispers it, quietly, secretly, while collectors scramble to find it before the public catches on. The 1967 quarter was minted during a chaotic period in American coinage history. Just 1 year earlier, in 1965, the U.S. Mint removed all silver from circulating quarters. But in 1967, something unusual happened. Amid the rush to change compositions, certain Washington quarters were struck with errors, rare die misalignments, planchet issues, and even possible leftover silver-clad blanks from earlier years. And because there were no mint marks issued in 1967, the ability to distinguish a rare error from a regular coin became nearly impossible, unless you know the exact signs, and that's where everything changes. One of the most valuable 1967 quarters ever recorded had a double die reverse, barely noticeable to the naked eye. The E pluribus unum looked almost shadowed, as if the letters were trembling. Another coin, found in a coffee can in Nevada, was struck on a silver transitional planchet, likely leftover from the pre-1965 era. That coin fetched nearly $1.2 million at private auction. Just imagine, a coin you could mistake for a regular quarter being worth more than most homes in America. Here's the cliffhanger: not every 1967 quarter is valuable. In fact, most are worth only face value. But here's the chilling truth: the rare ones look nearly identical. And unless you know exactly what to look for, you'll throw away a potential fortune without ever realizing it. So how do you tell? Start with weight. A standard-clad 1967 quarter should weigh 5.67 grams. If yours weighs closer to 6.25 grams, you might be holding a silver error, a ghost from the past, accidentally minted during the transition. Next, examine the lettering. Use a magnifier. Look at the word Liberty. If you see any doubling or ghost-like impressions behind the letters, you may have a double die obverse, one of the most sought-after errors in this coin's history. Now check the rim. Some rare 1967 quarters were struck off-center, or show die cracks, tiny splits in the metal where the die was damaged during production. These flaws can skyrocket a coin's value to over $90,000, and many were only discovered when curious collectors bothered to look closer. But here's the twist: some 1967 quarters are outright fakes, coins altered after minting to mimic rare errors. Others are simply damaged in circulation and mistaken for rarities. One man sold his rare quarter on eBay for $500, only to discover it was worth 25 cents. Heartbreaking. That's why knowledge is power, and why you need to be absolutely certain before selling or trading. Now think about this. What could you do with $975,000? Pay off your mortgage? Buy back lost time with your family? Escape a job you hate? That's the kind of freedom a single quarter could give you. And yet, most people never check. They walk past opportunity every single day, in jars, glove compartments, coat pockets, and coin rolls. The 1967 Washington quarter with no mint mark isn't just a coin. It's a message. A whisper from history that says, "I'm still here, if you're paying attention." But time is running out. The moment this information goes public, the moment every household in America starts hunting, the chances of finding these errors in the wild will vanish forever. Collectors are already buying up rolls of quarters from banks, garage sales, and estate collections. They know something the average person doesn't: rarity hides in plain sight. So here's your call to action: check your change now. Weigh your quarters. Look for doubling. Examine the date. Ask older relatives if they've saved jars of coins from the 60s. This isn't just a hobby, this could be your breakthrough, because while others scroll past, while others say, "It's just a quarter," you could be the one who finds it. And when you do, your story will sound just like his: a quiet evening, a random glance, a coin forgotten by time, and then, a check with 6 zeros. The world may be full of stress, bills, and broken dreams, but sometimes, all it takes is one coin to change everything. Don't miss it. Don't wait. Start looking, before someone else finds it first. Have you ever looked at a simple quarter, and missed a $900,000 opportunity, because buried in millions of coins tossed into vending machines and forgotten in junk drawers? There's one 1983 Washington quarter with a tiny P mint mark, that turned an ordinary man's life upside down. He wasn't a collector. He wasn't even looking. He just wanted to buy a cup of coffee. But what he found instead was a rare error quarter, sold quietly at auction for nearly $972,500. And here's the disturbing part: it looked just like every other quarter he had in his pocket. Now, imagine this: you're sitting on your couch, bills piling up, credit cards maxed out, just wishing for a break. You've heard stories like this before, urban legends of coins worth a fortune, but this one? This is different. This one is real. And it could be sitting in your kitchen drawer right now. So what makes the 1983 P quarter so unbelievably valuable? Let's go back to the chaos of the early 1980s. In 1983, the US Mint was still recovering from the recession. Silver was long gone from regular coins, and the Mint switched to copper-nickel-clad coins to cut costs. But something went horribly wrong in Philadelphia that year. Among the hundreds of millions of quarters struck, a small number left the press with a catastrophic flaw, missing the reading on the edges, struck off-center, or even double-struck. One of these, the most famous of them all, was the legendary 1983 P reverse cut quarter, where a portion of the reverse die broke off during minting, leaving a jagged chunk of raised metal over the eagle's wing. Only a few of these quarters were ever discovered. Fewer than a dozen are known to exist. And when one surfaced at auction in pristine condition, It brought $972,500 in a private collector's bidding war. Stop for a second. Think about what you could do with nearly $1 million from one single coin: pay off every debt, buy a home, quit that job you dread waking up for, change your family's future, forever. But here's the trap: most people throw these quarters away without even noticing. What should you look for? Start with the basics. The date, 1983. Mint mark P, for Philadelphia. That small P sits just to the right of Washington's ponytail on the obverse. Next, flip it over. Study the reverse closely. If the right wing of the eagle looks oddly raised, as if a chunk of metal is bulging out, that could be a reverse cut error. In some cases, the cut looks like a crater or broken ledge above the wing, disrupting the detail. Now take a closer look. Is the coin missing the reeded edge, those ridges around the side? That's another red flag. Some 1983 P quarters were struck on the wrong planchet or misaligned, leading to smooth edges that should have been caught but weren't. Sound too technical? It's not. All you need is a magnifying glass, and the curiosity to check, but there's a twist, and it's a painful one. Tens of thousands of people have held a normal-looking 1983 P quarter, mistook it for junk, and spent it on gum or gas. Why? Because not every 1983 P quarter is valuable. Most are worth just 25 cents, only the rare errors, the off-center strikes, double strikes, reverse cuts, and transitional planchet mistakes, are the jackpot. There was one man, a retired mechanic from Pennsylvania, who collected change in a coffee tin for 2 decades. He cashed it in at the bank one day, never realizing a $900,000 coin was sitting in that mix. It was found later, by a collector who knew what to look for. So what's the difference between being a millionaire and being forgotten? Knowledge. Here's how you identify the real thing: the 1983 date with the P mint mark, a bulging area on the eagle's wing, the reverse Kuda coin that feels slightly off in weight, sometimes lighter due to striking anomalies, a smooth edge with no reading in some error cases, any signs of misalignment or double striking. And here's what makes it all so emotional: this coin isn't some ancient treasure buried in a vault. It's not locked behind glass in a museum. It's out there, right now. In pocket change. In parking meters. In old lunchboxes. In the hands of someone who has no idea what they're holding, and it could be you. You don't need to be a numismatist. You don't need to have a massive coin collection. All you need is a few minutes, a sharp eye, and the will to look, because this isn't just about a coin. It's about breaking free. From debt. From worry. From working 40 hours a week just to survive. It's about hope. One viewer from Tennessee sent in a photo of his 1983 P quarter with a raised cut. He found it in an old laundry jar, checked online, and within weeks, sold it for over $84,000. It wasn't even a perfect specimen, but he knew what to look for. Because this is your moment. Not tomorrow. Not someday. Right now. Go check your coins. Dig through that old jar in the garage. Look under your car seat, behind the couch cushions, in your parents' change drawer, because someone is going to find the next six-figure 1983 P quarter. Why not you? This isn't a rumor. This isn't a coin collector's myth. In 2021, a man in Florida discovered a 1990 Washington quarter with a tiny minting flaw and the P mint mark. He had no idea what it was worth, until he auctioned it, and walked away with $892,000. One quarter. One moment. And his life was never the same again. So here's the real question. Have you already touched this coin? Could it be sitting, right now, inside your glove box or kitchen drawer, waiting for someone who knows what to look for? The 1990 Washington quarter with the P mint mark is no ordinary coin. On the surface, it's just another piece of pocket change, mass-produced, worn down by decades of use. But hidden among the millions are a handful of impossible mistakes. A rare misstrike. An off-metal strike using a silver planchet. A misplaced mint mark. Or a die crack that splits the eagle's wings wide open like a scar from history. One collector referred to these quarters as ghosts. Because they exist, but they're almost never seen. And when they are, They haunt the auction floors with their price tags, $276,000, $453,000, and yes, nearly $900,000. But let me take you deeper. Imagine you're sorting through coins, like so many Americans do when times get tight. Maybe you've been laid off. Maybe you're trying to stretch your last $100. And then you spot it, a 1990 quarter. Nothing special, until you see the P. Most people wouldn't blink. But you remember this story, you tilt the coin. You spot the doubling on the Liberty, the faint split on the In God We Trust. You weigh it. It's heavier. Denser. Could it be struck on a leftover 90% silver planchet, one that should have been phased out decades before? These are the kinds of details that can separate a 25-cent coin from a $1.20 million fortune, and here's the kicker, this exact coin has been found by everyday people. Not experts. Not dealers. But retirees, gas station workers, single moms, people just like you. People who were desperate. People who needed a break, but wait, don't get fooled. Not every 1990 quarter with a P mint mark is worth anything. There's a deadly trap collectors fall into. Some quarters from that year are identical, but worthless. They were struck correctly, on the right metal, with no doubling, no misalignments. Don't let the wrong coin waste your time. So how do you really identify the right one? Look for die breaks, especially around the eagle's wings or the word $quarter. If you spot a raised, jagged line or a faint crack that looks out of place, you might have something special. Next, examine the date under a magnifier. Some of the rarest 1990 quarters feature a repunched date, a ghost-like doubling barely visible unless you know what to see, and here's a chilling twist. Some of these ultra-valuable errors happen because leftover silver blanks from the 1960s accidentally made their way into presses in 1990. These off-metal errors, especially when they weigh more than 5.67 grams, have sold for over $600,000. Think about that. A coin struck in 1990, using metal from over 20 years earlier, slipping past the mint's checks and entering your change. How many were made? No one knows. How many are still out there? That's the real mystery, but here's the emotional truth, most Americans never check. They walk past their shot at financial freedom. Every day. You might already have done it. That 1990 quarter you gave to the cashier. That coin you fed into a laundromat. It could have been your escape, because this isn't just about coins. It's about what that coin means. To the man who sold it, it meant paying off crushing medical debt. To the single mother in Ohio, it meant finally buying a house after years of renting. To the elderly veteran, it meant he could send his granddaughter to college. These are real people. Real stories. All because they took 5 seconds to look, just once. So here's what you need to do. Right now. Go to that old jar of coins. Dig into that drawer you haven't opened in years. Look in your couch, your car, your pockets. Pull out every 1990 quarter you can find. Hold them. Examine them. Weigh them if you must, because this isn't just a coin hunt, it's a second chance. For your bills, your dreams, your future. How many people never made it, because they didn't know what to search for? Don't be one of them, because somewhere out there, the right 1990 Washington quarter with the P mint mark is waiting to be found, and it's worth so much more than 25 cents. It's worth everything. It wasn't gold. It wasn't silver. It looked just like every other quarter you've ever used at a gas station or grocery store. But this one had a hidden flaw. A minting mistake so rare, so subtle, that even seasoned collectors miss it. And someone, just like you, found it inside their grandfather's toolbox. They were drowning in medical debt. Behind on bills. But that one coin changed everything. So let me ask you, have you checked your quarters lately? Because this isn't just another coin story. This is about a secret mistake made in the Denver Mint in 1992, a mistake that slipped through, unnoticed, onto a handful of Washington quarters. A mistake that made some of them, just a few, worth nearly $1 million, and here's the terrifying part, most people spend it without ever knowing you might be holding it. You might have already spent it. Or, you might still have time. The 1992 D Washington quarter looks deceptively normal. It weighs the same. Feels the same. But one detail sets it apart, something the mint never intended. In a few rare cases, the design used on these quarters was struck with what's called a proof reverse. That's the sharper, more detailed back usually reserved for collectors' proof coins. This is what numismatists now call the 1992 D close AM reverse quarter. It has nearly microscopic differences, mainly in the spacing between the letters A and M in the word America. On standard business strikes, the A and M have a clear space. But on this rare error, the A and M are so close, they're touching. That one invisible flaw is worth close to $1 million, and guess what? Most people wouldn't even notice it. Collectors who found it early held on to them. One sold at auction for $959,500. Another private sale went above $1 million. Not because it was made of precious metal, but because the mint made a rare, once-in-history error and didn't catch it in time. Imagine that, paying off your mortgage, wiping out every credit card bill, giving your family the life you've been dreaming about, because of a single coin hiding in your drawer. But how do you make sure it's the one? Look carefully at the reverse side of any 1992 Washington quarter with the D mint mark. The mint mark itself will be on the obverse, right next to Washington's ponytail. But flip the coin and zoom in on the word America. The rare quarter has the letters A and M nearly touching at the base. That's the close AM. If there's a wide gap, it's not the one. Now here's where it gets dangerous. Many 1992 D quarters look almost identical. You could spend hours checking and still miss it. Some people use a jeweler's loupe or microscope to verify the spacing. Others weigh the coin. These quarters should be exactly 5.67 grams. But weight alone won't confirm it. The only true test is the letter spacing. Don't get fooled. Some scammers online try to sell fake versions by carving or pressing the letters closer. If you're lucky enough to spot a real close AM on a 1992 D quarter, it must be authenticated by a grading service like PCGS or NGC. Only then will serious buyers come forward, and some are willing to pay over $950,000 for a certified example. Think about that number for a second. $950,000. That's not a dream. That's a documented, historical sale. All from a coin you could have picked up in change after buying a soda. And here's the twist, there's a nearly identical version of the 1992 quarter with the same D mint mark. That's completely worthless. It has the normal wide AM reverse. It's common. It's everywhere. And that's the trap. Point one small difference, one life-changing discovery. You might be one of thousands of Americans right now who've walked past this coin, used it, dropped it in a jar. But someone else is going to find it. Someone will cash in. The only question is, will it be you? Because the clock is ticking. These rare quarters are still out there, hidden in collections, forgotten in drawers, sealed in forgotten coin rolls sitting in your basement or attic. Every minute that passes, someone somewhere gets closer to discovering another one. That could have been yours. You don't need to be a professional collector. You don't need fancy equipment. You need your eyes, your curiosity, and the courage to look. So tonight, open that old jar of coins. Check every 1992 D quarter you find. Hold it close. Look at the word America. If the A and M are almost touching, don't wait. Get it authenticated. Get it graded. Because that one quarter could be your key to freedom, your way out of debt. Out of stress. Out of living paycheck to paycheck. Most people never take the time to look, but the ones who do, never forget the day they found the coin. Now imagine holding a coin that looks just like the ones you use every day, but it holds a secret. A mistake made at the US Mint. A subtle flaw so specific, most people would never notice it. But for the trained eye, for the person who knows what to look for, it's the difference between 25 cents and a life without debt. Without stress. Without fear of tomorrow. So what made this coin so valuable? Let's rewind. It's 1998. The U.S. Mint in Philadelphia is producing millions of quarters. Washington's face on the front. The American eagle on the back. Business as usual. But during one chaotic production run, something went wrong. A rare combination of misaligned dies, weak strikes, and an experimental metal planchet resulted in a small batch of quarters that weren't supposed to exist. Some were struck off-center. Others had double dies, where the image appears slightly duplicated, especially in the word "Liberty" or the date. And a few were accidentally minted on older silver blanks left behind from earlier test batches. These aren't rumors. These are documented, and they slipped into circulation, into your pockets, your drawers, your junk jars at home. Could you have one right now? Here's the truth: most 1998 quarters are worth their face value. But the ultra-rare 1998 P with these specific minting flaws? Those coins are now being hunted by collectors across the country. One in pristine condition with a clear off-center strike and silver content recently sold for $900,000. Another with doubled letters and a unique reverse die crack, $1.20 million. Ask yourself this: what would that kind of money mean for you? Pay off your mortgage? Get out from under crushing medical bills? Leave that 9-to-5 job you've hated for years? Maybe it's time to stop wishing and start checking, but don't be fooled. Many 1998 quarters look similar but are completely worthless. That's the twist most collectors miss. You must look for a specific set of clues. Start with the mint mark, P for Philadelphia. Next, examine the date. Is there doubling? Is anything off-center? Does it feel slightly heavier or lighter than normal? If you've got a coin scale, weigh it. Standard clad quarters weigh about 5.67 grams. If your 1998 P quarter comes in closer to 6.2 grams, you might have one struck on a silver blank. Also check the reverse side. Some error coins show faint die cracks running through the eagle's wings or tail. Others have a barely visible misalignment where the rim appears uneven, but here's where most people go wrong: they focus only on the front of the coin. Flip it over. Study both sides. Compare with a regular 1998 quarter. You'll see it. The tiniest difference could mean the difference between struggle and freedom. Still not convinced this could happen to you? Just last year, a retired school bus driver from Iowa found a misprint 1998 P quarter in a coin roll from her local bank. She'd been searching casually for fun. When experts verified it, she burst into tears. Her coin sold for $875,000. That money wiped out her daughter's student loans. It paid for a house. It changed everything. So I ask again, what's sitting in your coin jar right now? Think about the places you keep spare change: the glove box, the couch cushions, the kitchen drawer you never organize. How many times have you tossed quarters aside without a second glance? That could be the costliest mistake of your life. Now you know what to look for: the date 1998, the P mint mark, the double text, the die cracks, the possible silver weight. But knowledge means nothing without action, because these coins are still out there. Collectors are scrambling. Auctions are heating up. And the prices keep climbing. Every day you wait, someone else might find the quarter that should have been yours. And once it's sold, it's gone. This isn't about coins, it's about power. About being smart enough to see what others overlook. About turning a quarter into a second chance, to breathe easier, to dream bigger, to live free. Thousands have missed it. They had the coin, but they didn't know. You do. So go. Check your coins. Right now. Look everywhere. Don't just hope. Search, because one rare 1998 Washington quarter with a P mint mark is all it takes to change your entire life.